then you're gonna sweep the floor. Stop there. Feel it? Right here. So that's your range of motion for this. Nothing further. And it helps if you pause it here. So pause and go. Feel the difference? That looks really good. So just first warm up, kind of get yourself moving. Alright guys, welcome back to the No Switch Fitness YouTube page. Today we're going to be doing a shoulder focused push session. As always, we got Nick, training partner with me, but we have a special guest, IFBB Pro Nikki Barry. So really excited for today's session. You're going to be able to see kind of like how we set things up for some different structured people. As you can see, we all look a little bit different. So a great session on the books for you days, guys. Some new movements since the last time we put this session up. So excited to go over with you on those so that you have some takeaways for your sessions. Let's dive in. All right, come on, match up. Come on. Even if you fail, don't jump. That's good. Good. A little heavy. Looks good though. Just watch the jump at the bottom. Alright guys, so cable laterals, first movement here. Really big fan of a couple things. First off is a D handle in your hand while you're doing this. You have an anticipatory reflex that gives more shoulder stability with grip strength on gripping something. So even though we're using a cuff for the lateral, we're hanging on to a D handle to kind of create that anticipatory stability. And then a couple other things would be just having the cable up where it's not pointed straight up at you, and then pausing in the bottom so that we don't get that momentum as we go. So make sure you guys set this up kind of like we did and get the most out of it. He's there, he hesitates, and then he goes. There's no like momentum with it. There's no actual shift. That's what you want the reps to look like. He's notorious for using straps here, so it's good. That bottom position is where he goes wrong, so he does it really well now. Good, come on. Go. Yep, same route. Even if it's partial, go.
Oh, nice.
Look at that.
It's so funny. The first like 35 felt like a fucking house. My body has to like wake up.
And then you get to the work weight and you're like, okay, I'm actually ready for this session.
Ten. 2. Ah!
Come on, partial.
Ooh, boy.
How'd that do plus
2. Plus
yeah?
2.
Someone showed up to train today. Alright, so I load it different than Nick. If I were you, it makes more sense to load it mid-peg just from ease of picking a work weight. So I would just try a plate, just test it out, get your triceps a little warm. It's 310, 5, 340. I had those in a while ago, yeah. It's pretty close. Maybe a 10 on the bottom?
Yeah, if you want.
Meeting of the minds before the warm-ups. We like to think of ourselves as the minds. Ain't that right, Nick?
See.
Meeting of the minds before warm-ups.
Make it feel a little heavier.
Asking the question, how jacked do you want to be today? Come on.
Oh. Get it. You got one. You got one. Oh, good. Ah!
Woo. Felt good. Maybe training late's the secret. Gloff, I hear you. I know you like those fucking 9 p.m. sessions. Gloff? That fucker, when he squats, if it's like testing like anywhere close to that 785, he's like the later the better.
Those bitches gotta wake up like at 10 o'clock though, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way they're getting up at 5.
Gloff, I love you. Come on. Don't bounce it. Good, come on. Go, 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 go. That's it. Is your right side stronger than your left?
Yeah, my I had to go here.
Yeah. So the next, what do you want, 4?
410.
410. 5 more days. Come on. Come on, Nick. Come on. Go. Oh. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. Come on, Nick. 5. Come on.
Oh.
Come on, Nick. Go. 6.
Oh.
Come on, Nick.
Fuck.
7. You. Negative.
Oh.
Leave it. Leave it.
Fuck. That's exactly what I got last week. Fuck, that was fucking heavy as shit.
That's what it looks like when it takes a dump on you. Good God almighty. All right. You ready, Nick?
Yep. Come on. Oh.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's go, Luke.
You got 16 easy.
Get it.
1. 1. Sick.
Come on.
Let's go, Luke.
Come on. 9. Come on. Come on.
Come on, Nick.
11. Come on. 12. Come on. That's you.
Come on, Nick.
Still,
All done.
Prime Machine's undefeated. Kicks my ass every time.
What we want, though. All right, so we moved the close grip over to this hammer strength machine. Just from like a wrist elbow, that Smith machine was causing a little bit of issues at both for me, just with the amount it has to deviate. So with this, it's unilateral handle. It does converge a little bit. So you will get a little chest, but I really like how well I can align this to tricep involvement. So this is a close grip that we're doing on here, which is why we actually have the 2 quarters under the machine to kind of set that bottom point, because we won't be getting as deep as we would with a chest press So if we were doing this for chest, I wouldn't have all those quarters under there. I'd probably only have one. And just kind of set the bottom point according to the movement. So with close grip, this sets it pretty perfect for that stop point. So we'll dead stop these off the bottom.
Come on, Luke. Good. Oh, you got one. Big one. Nice. Great set.
What are you doing? Quarter?
I'm about to look. I did 3 and 30. 12.
You're 35.
35?
You're 12 fucking reps. Your wife's calling you.
Go.
Arms all the way.
Yes.
Come on. Come on.
Oh!
Yep, good. Come on. 8. No, you. 1. Take it.
Go!
Negative. Good set. Shoulder, give that on you a bit.
What do you want?
Does that happen often? Leave it 3. I think it's 3. Let me check.
Yes, because I've been stuck on doing my rehab. So, that's missing with the song.
You know, I could chastise you here, but I didn't do mine when I walked in, so I can't really.
This is chastising enough. I know what I gotta do. What do you want? 3?
$15. 16. Get 3. Get 3.
Easy.
2 more. 2. 2. Get up. Last fucking one. Get up. Get up.
That blew my delts. Oh. So 2 sets here, 15 to 20. Just really trying to get net lateral raise volume. Lateral raises will get added this week with legs, so we'll be touching lateral delts 3 times a week now. We start both push sessions with laterals, and I'll start legs with laterals next week. So it'll be like a volume addition via frequency. So that'll be fun because we trained legs 2 days ago, so that'll add another layer to this. But 2 sets, really just trying to drive maintenance of that position, slight internal rotation, hands down, so that we're in the right plane for the lateral delt. It's easy to get a lot of trap when you pull that hand up on the handle. So y'all seen this plenty of times before, nothing new.
My delts. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Your setup last time when I moved your hand was perfect. I would do 90.
Okay.
Finally got a +1 of this bitch. Been matching all day today.
I got in it. I did like rep 3. I was like, oh, I'm in for a ride. on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Good. Take it if you got it.
That's
Rep.
it. Yep.
Gotcha. Hey, start bringing it in. Scared the shit out of me. Like,
I felt the stretch.
That was 20 last time.
Best set all day. That's probably not a good thing.
come on. Take it if you got it.
You got more. Good. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, bring it here and then no.
Okay.
All right, so on this table crossover setup, this is coming to play because we've milked the pec deck pretty much for everything that it's worth. I don't give an advantage to the crossover because I like how the cam of the pec deck follows the line of force throughout the entirety of the movement, where when you start to get into the stretch position, that cable is still going out on you while you're starting to curve back around where that force to oppose it needs to be in the stretch. But it's still a very good movement to kind of train a pec in like a mid-ish range depending on how you set it up. So the further away from the cable is going to be more lengthened. The closer to the cable, like the more in the cable, the more shortened. And if you're just like a little bit out, it'll be mid to shortened depending on levers. So really good movement. We like it with the bench for the pad to brace against the output force a little bit better. It's a really good substitute for pec deck. When you've milked your pec deck or you don't have a pec deck, this is a really good setup. Yeah, pause in the top. There. Good. Great rep. Good. Same rep. There you go. So that would be like an 8.5 out of 10. We can make that a 9.5 out of 10. So when you set this up, you're like, you're here, okay? I'm okay with a little forward lean, but it's so much that your elbows are drifting out. So just a little bit taller. Think about AD ducking your arm. So pulling your arm in, so here, and then press. You're real close, it's just a little.
Thank you.
Okay. Intro. Overhand push downs to hammer curls. We were doing spud bar here, but one of the things with the spud bar, it's great because you adjust the width, but it requires your wrist to maintain a lot of forceful flexion. And just kind of with what we do a lot of flexion throughout like forearm force. So you can kind of get overuse injuries and start to get some niggles on like the inside of the elbow, or even kind of like down here on the outside. So for a swap for a bit, we're gonna go to this overhand bar that's got a little bit of the slope on it so that we're not straight overhand, we're kind of more here. And it's almost wide enough to line up. Not quite perfect, but it's good enough to align everything to get a good tricep contraction. And so then we'll go over and do hammer curls, kind of one arm at a time, and alternate back and forth between those. 3 sets each.
Easy.
Come on.
Good.
Just don't let yourself get here. Make sure that you like still drive that. Your problem is you want to get here.
Yeah.
If you can just limit how much you lean, it'll fall into place. Your tricep has an action in moving that arm close to the torso. So you want to think about it. It shouldn't actively move, but you want to kind of cue it so that you catch, what you'll see is that like inner head, tricep head, you catch a lot more of it. All right, so single arm cable skull crushers. More just to expose me to this overhead position behind the head. I do lack some overhead shoulder stability and mobility. So lacking external rotation, some in like the downward rotation of the scap. So getting myself in an overhead position will transfer into some of my higher incline presses, overhead pressing fairly well. It's a good place to train a stretch tricep. So I just like the cable set up because I can align it to everything a little bit better. And it's a little bit easier on my elbow joint based on where it loads than like a regular skull crusher at the moment. So I go back and forth between these and like a dumbbell, but I'm a big fan of this, just to expose yourself to this overhead plane and forcing the overhead stability. So really good movement. We'll wrap up with 2 sets here, and that'll be it. That'll be the day. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully a lot of takeaways for you guys. Really good session. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with any questions you have. We'll be down there answering them. Let us know what content you want to see. We'll be getting that produced for you over the next couple of weeks. A lot of content coming from you this month. We've got a lot of people competing, a lot of training sessions with people in town, and NPC Nationals coming up as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the page. We're going to be spitting out a ton of content over the next month. So make sure you do what I said before. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.